Shalom, family. Once again, I thank you for joining me today. And today, family, I want to talk about the awakening. And when the newness and excitement of being awakened begin to wear off, and the trials begin. Contrary to Christian doctrine, that if you surrender your life to Mashiach, you live a life of, all peaches and cream. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. And it causes a lot of people to fail because of the expectations. The Most High is going to test us. And He is wise in the way that He does it. Now, when you first come into the truth, the Most High doesn't put trials and tests on you that He knows you're not prepared yet to endure or withstand. He'll put a few little things in there that He knows that you can endure and, be all right. But as you grow spiritually in this word, those tests become more frequent and they become more difficult. Ask me how I know. Because over the years and stuff, been tested thoroughly, and still that way. It really never ends. It ends when Mashiach returns. Christian doctrine would tell you that once you're saved, you're always saved. That is absolutely a lie. Salvation is a gift from the Most High. And like all gifts, you can accept it or you can give it back. Just as if somebody bought you something for your birthday or something and you didn't like it and you returned it. So it is with salvation. You can give it back. And I really hate the term, I'm saved. No, you're not. Now, I know that may be a shock to some of you, but you're not. We're all, each day, working towards salvation. We're working out our salvation with fear and trembling. None of us are to get cocky and say, I got it made. No, you don't. You're still living. You're still in a human flesh body. So each and every day, you're working towards your salvation. When you know that you've been saved, is when Mashiach tell you. When He comes back, when He say, well done, my good and faithful servant, enter into the kingdom. Then you know you made it. You're saved. Or it could go the other way. He can tell you to depart from Him. He never knew you. See? So you're not saved until the Most High tells you are. We're just working our way towards salvation. Trying to be obedient each and every day that we draw breath. Because at any moment, things could flip and you go back into the world. All right? When you're in this true family and the Most High starts, testing you and you're going through trials, you're going through finance trouble and health, and it just seems like you get on a run where nothing goes right. It can last for days or a couple of weeks where it just seems that nothing is going right. No matter what you do. And you begin to get into that mindset that somewhere down the line you must have offended the Most High. And that's not always the case. The Most High is just testing you. It's not about you done offended him. You may not have offended him, but you're still going to get tested. So don't always think, but let the first thing come to your mind when you start going through things that you've offended the Most High. No, he's testing you. Just go back and take a look at Job. Job hadn't done anything. And the Most High said it up front when he was talking to Satan. You know, have you noticed my servant Job? He's upright. Job hadn't done anything. And neither one of us can claim to have gone through or going through what Job did. That was horrific. You know, that was horrific. But Job hadn't done anything. You know, it's just a test of the Most High. And in these last days, the Most High is testing to see who really is his and who only worship him in words only. You know, you can find those scriptures in Matthew 15:8 and Isaiah 29:13. You know, people just draw near to him with their mouth, but their heart is not with him. So in these days, the Most High is just testing his people. You know, he's refining us as gold. You know, anything that needs to be burned off, you know, gets burned off. So you're going to go through testing. This is not going to be no peaches and cream. And as the days go on, it's going to get even harder. You know, you're going to have to buckle down and remain faithful no matter what. And this is what the Most High is expecting of you. That no matter what, like Job, you will not curse him to his face, nor charge him foolishly. You know, saying the Most High is unfair and all that, that's charging him foolishly. You know, when your expectations are that after you start following Mashiach in the truth and things are just going to be peaches and cream from there on out, that can lead you into great disappointment. And when that disappointment sets in, then you begin to think that, you know what, this truth ain't working. It's not real. You know, and you'll fall back into sin. You'll fall back into the world. You know, you begin to feel, man, you know what? Life was much easier when I was in the world. You know, when you was going with the flow of the world, it seemed easier, didn't it? You know, no special efforts need to be made or nothing. You were just going with the flow. But when you begin to follow the Most High, then you're going against the flow of the world, which is much difficult. You know. And, you know, I liken it. Have any of you ever swum in an ocean or a large lake? If you notice, the tide is coming in toward the shore. So when you go to swim out, you're swimming against the flow, which is more difficult. You have to be a good swimmer. But coming back in, now you're swimming with the flow, and it's not very much effort needed at all. In fact, it helps carry you back in. And so it is, you know, with the world. You know, when you're living in the world, you know, you was going with the flow. as soon as you change, you accept this truth, you start swimming against the flow or the tide. And it gets difficult, don't it? You have to be a really strong believer to make it back in or to swim against it. Okay? And so, if you think that things are just going to be real easy after accepting this truth, then you're expecting the wrong thing, because you're going to be tested. I don't care who you are and how long you've been in the truth. Now, the Most High is gentle. It starts out, pretty minor. Things that he knows that you should be able to overcome. And one of the first things obstacle is that your friends and family kind of, turn on you and kind of separate themselves from you. But he knows that you can get through that because you got other believers, around that you can talk to. And in your mind, well, my family will finally come around, and accept me as, the way I am. And in most cases they do, but in a lot of cases they don't. And so when you first come into the truth, I mean, it's exciting, you buy all the books you can and all the Israelite clothing you can and your fringes, and you're watching every teacher on YouTube. It's exciting. I mean, you just can't get enough. But when that newness of the awakening wear off and when the trials begin, it's a whole different ball game, ain't it? You begin to experience things that you didn't even experience in the world. Okay? So, we're just going to have to read some scriptures here, family, as we always do, to kind of help us understand and get through this. All right? So, I guess we'll start with 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 6 through 8. Wherein you greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, you are in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perish, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Mashiach, whom having not seen, you love, in whom though now you see him not, yet believing, you rejoice with unspeakable and full of glory. It's like what Mashiach said to Timothy, Thomas. He said, you believe, because you've seen. He said, but blessed are those who believe, yet they haven't even seen. And that go for our great forefathers, Abraham and Jacob. They didn't see the promise, but yet they believed without seeing. They had hope, in the promise. And, you can read that in Hebrews, chapter 11, somewhere in there. Let's see, James chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into different temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. 1 Peter 4, 12 and 13. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice, inasmuch as you are partakers of Mashiach's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, you may be glad also with exceeding joy. It's just telling you, don't think it's strange now because you are being tried and tested. You know, the Most High just let Satan tempt you or whatever. You're just being tried, and you got to pass it. You know, you just got to stay true to what you say you believe. Let's see, 1 Peter 4:17, for the time is come that judgments must begin at the house of Yah. And if it first begin with us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Yah? See, the judgment's going to start with us, family. This is why the Most High now is gathering those who are obedient, those who have endurance, those who keep the faith no matter what is going on in their life or around them. They just stand steadfast, just as Job. You know, and the scriptures tell you, you know, Job he didn't sin out of all the things that was happening to him. In fact, let me go there. Job chapter 1 verse 12 through 22. I'll read it quickly if I can. And the Most High said unto Satan, behold, all that he has is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thy hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Most High. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the asses feeding beside them. And the Sabaeans fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only escaped alone to tell you. While he was yet speaking, there came another and said, the fire of Elohim is fallen from heaven, and has burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them. And I only escaped alone to tell you. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only escaped to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, then came another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only escaped alone to tell thee. Verse 20, then Job arose and rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground and worshipped, and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return hither. The Most High gave, and the Most High taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Most High. Verse 22 said, and in all this Job sinned not, nor to charge the Most High foolishly. You know, like I say, charging the Most High foolishly is accusing him of being a respecter of persons, or didn't deal with you righteously, unfairly. That's charging him foolishly, because it was a test from the Most High. He wants to know who is his and who is not. And this is going on this very day, especially in these end times. Okay? 1 Peter 5 and 10. But the Elohim of all grace, who has called us unto his eternal glory by Yahushua HaMashiach, after that you have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, and settle you. See, the Most High tests who he loves. It's not that you've done anything, family, and please get that in your mind when you start going through things. It's not that you have sinned or offended the Most High, but this is his test, and he wants you to succeed. He's not doing that for you to fail, but at certain points in your walk, as you have grown in the Word, then he allows these tests to come. And like I say, they come more frequent and more difficult. And he's expecting you to pass them. Because scripture tell you that, he won't put anything more on you than he know that you're able to bear. And with that, he makes a way for you to escape. Okay? But if you give up at the sign of the first trial, you're going to think that the word isn't true, and you're going to fall back into temptation of the world. And there you leave yourself wide open to Satan's devices. He will put things in your way to satisfy the things that you want. If you're struggling with your finances, you down to walk by a car and see $100,000 laying on the seat. And Satan tempts you. See, there's your money right there. Why are you suffering, waiting on the Most High to do something? There's the money. Get it. See? And you act the fool and open somebody's car door and take money. You've given in to the temptations of Satan, which is the same thing he tried to do to Mashiach when Mashiach was tempted. He told Mashiach he'd give him all the things in the world if you just bow down and worship me. And that's exactly what you be doing. You have bowed down to Satan and worshiped him when you do wrong, to satisfy your flesh or your needs. That's exactly what you're doing. Let's see. Yes. 1 Corinthians 10:13. There has no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. It's like I said before, when you we'll use the term baby in this word, the Most High doesn't really bring temptations and trials upon you that you're not able to bear, because you're new in this word. But family, as you grow in this word, he begins to test you. Okay? Things that you should be able to handle. All right? 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7 through 9. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of Yah and not of us. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. See, the Most High he's just not going to let you be defeated, family. Because that would defeat the whole purpose of the test. He's not testing you to fail. He's testing you for you to succeed. That's always his purpose. That's always his purpose, for you to succeed. He wasn't expecting Job to fail. In fact, he knew Job's heart. He knew Job wasn't going to turn on him and curse him to his face. Okay? And so that's the confidence that we need for the Most High to have in us today. That he know, oh, okay, my servant so-and-so, even if this happens, he's not going to turn. So he's separating the sheep from the goats right now. Especially in these end times, when things are about to get real crazy, family. And you better be ready to endure, okay? Speaking of a test, let's look at the test that he gave to Abraham. Genesis 22, verse 1 and 2. And it came to pass after these things that the Most High did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here I am. Now, when it said the Most High tempted Abraham, it should be the word tested. The Most High does not tempt anyone with evil. Okay? Verse 2, and he said, Take now thy son, thy only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will tell thee of. Now look at that test, family. This is Abraham, the father of many nations. The Most High is asking him to take his son up into a mountain and kill him. And you think you've been tested? If Abraham hadn't passed that test, he wouldn't be our father. Neither would be Isaac or Jacob either. But he passed it. He was obedient. But what does the scripture say? The Most High, with the temptation, will make a way to escape. And when Abraham drew back his knife to take his son's life, what did the Most High do? He stopped him. So no, do not harm him. And he furnished him a lamb that was caught up in the bushes or something like that. That was to be the sacrifice. But Abraham was about to follow through before the Most High stopped him. And the Most High furnished him a way of escape by furnishing him with a lamb. Okay? And you can just even look at it when our ancestors' faith was tested in Exodus, with Moses. Exodus 14 and 13, it said, And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of the Most High, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall see them again no more forever. See, the Most High tested the children of Israel. Well, the Israelites, Moses brought them out of the land, but where did they end up? They were caught in between a rock and a hard place. There's the sea right there. They can't go across, and then they can't go back because Pharaoh's army is pursuing them. Okay? And they went to complaining. Well, see, we told you, Moses, you should have left us alone, man. It'd been better if we'd have stayed there as slaves. You done brought us out here in the wilderness to die. See? And the Most High probably, let them stew on that for a minute before he, had Moses to part the sea. Ain't no telling how long it was before it may have been an hour or so, before he actually allowed them to cross. But they were being tested. And as it were, they were beginning to lose faith and wanting to go back to Egypt. And some of our brothers and sisters today are faced with the same dilemma. Life gets a little bit hard living in this truth, and they'd rather go back to Egypt, meaning the world, where things were much easier, where they were just swimming along with the flow. Swimming against the flow was a little bit too difficult for them. So it's easier to just go with the flow of the world. Just as it would be easier to swim with the tide than against it. So that's what's going on, family. When things go to happening, after, you done experienced the joy of being awakened and, wearing your fringes and different Israelite costumes, and you buying this book and that book, and you going from channel to channel, you wanted to suck in all you could. But after a while, when that newness wear off and when the trials and tribulation begin, a lot of us start fainting. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. This is harder than living in the world. So, this is just a message to let us know that you're going to be tested, family. That you can count on. None of us is going to escape being tested. And like I say, the more you learn, the more you enter this word, the more you understand, then the more the tests happen. You're just not going to escape it. The Most High wants to know who is His. It's just that simple. He's just picking out the best of the best. Those who really worship Him in spirit, with their heart and mind fully. Not those who just get up and say, I believe, I believe. I mean, you can fix your mouth to say anything, brother. And your heart is far from the Most High. And that's when you'll hear the words that depart from me, I never knew you. Okay? Instead of hearing, well done, enter into the kingdom. Okay, family. I think it's enough said, don't you? So, till next time, Most High willing, shalom.